Sports Podcast, soccer podcast for us, by us. Talking about the section of black culture and soccer. Got your boy here, Greggo here. The family is back together. We are here. We are back in the spot. Like I said, TK, you did good here, man. Like it's a nice little spot, man.
See the effort that goes into such a thing.
Yeah, man. And of course, got TK on one of those twos here with me. And dog, I need to understand. You don't understand, like this is like a miracle that this has happened. Mayor came from all the way from Bangor and Maine. Where have you been, man?
I've been everywhere. Oh man, it's good to be back with my brothers.
Yes. And then of course, down here to my left, well, y'all's left, my right, is me, Marc. What's up with you, man?
Moving on up to the east side.
Or on the west side.
Whatever.
The West Midtown of sorts.
Yeah. But no, this is nice. This is dope, man. I almost forgot what y'all look like, man.
Man, listen, like I said, like the last time we was up in here, like I said, we talked about this, and it's like really, it's been like a good 3 years since we, had everyone together for a recording, and like I said, this is a dope setup, and I'm just glad that we were able to get this done, and of course, reach out to the people, man. Because of course, y'all got to see our faces, man. That's it. Team Chocolate, little caramel over here, but hey, we're good. Get your shine.
Wow. If that's the lighting, y'all. That's the lighting.
You had the shade.
Listen to a couple more. I don't know how we're gonna get Devin down here.
Yeah.
I said, Coach. We almost we're gonna need another chair, man.
Yeah, I mean we have a high chair for Coach specifically, but the man does not want to pull up. I understand. I got kids too. I understand.
But no, it's we are burning the midnight oil. Like I said, we literally just came from Atlanta United's game against Cincinnati. We were almost there, but we fell short 2-1. But so we still got a lot of good stuff to talk about this week. Of course, a lot of stuff happened in the culture, in the game. Of course, we actually had the opportunity to check out Atlanta United's new third kit. They had a launch event last week that y'all caught on FTCUTD.com. Me and Marc covered the event. Was me and Coach. So yeah, a good little bit to talk about. Of course, thank you guys for checking out your podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. I heard Stitcher's gone now, so don't listen to us on there. But and of course, I guess it's going on YouTube, right?
Yeah. This will be on the YouTube.
Yeah, so
FTCUTD Top TV coming soon.
Oh, okay.
Always making moves.
Right. But no, man. Like what you want to get into first, TK?
I don't know. Honestly, I think there's a couple good trending topics that we want to talk about. Maybe since today, by the time you guys hear this, the transfer window will be closing. So silly season is almost done. So maybe we could touch on a couple of the last minute transfers.
Yeah. I had to break some news to you earlier.
You did. I was a little shocked. I was like, who? Is he not on our team already?
Yeah. Are y'all just making that many moves where you just can't even keep up not anymore?
It's like England Nationals under 21 or Jigwood at Chelsea. So.
But yes, our man J. Cole Palmer, the brother man, winger from Man City, is on his way to Chelsea for about 45 million euros.
Yeah, I think it's 40 plus 5, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, because mind you, like he was just doing this thing for Man City in the Super Cup, and they said, you know what, you're going to go ahead and deuce it out and send you over to Chelsea, which I'm honestly very shocked that they made this move. But
what just dawned on me, you said that, is they just got that winger in from PSV?
Yeah.
Or
Doku.
Yeah.
Y'all just spending on top of spending, and it's just like, what in the world, man?
I mean,
So I will say, like, for this particular move, like, they were looking at a left footed attacker specifically, right? They tried to sign Elise. They were linked to Emil Smith Rowe, which I thought was, me and a lot of other Chelsea fans thought that was a weird link. Like, he just hasn't been playing as much. It's kind of fallen out of favor at Arsenal. I don't know. It's tricky. Like, you're seeing more and more of this intra-Premier League type of business, specifically intra the top six. And I think you're going to see more and more of that because it's like, it's really getting to a point where it's really only those top six, in the teams in and around the top six, that are spending those type of fees and those type of wages. You know?
True, but at the same time, like, it's still only certain teams because, like, until you start seeing City, United doing business together, or you start seeing United and Liverpool doing business together, then you can be like, okay, now, now,
but even like
top 16,
Chelsea and Arsenal doing business together, that's not that frequent. But
It's
they did
not
a big
frequent.
one this past summer.
Yeah, like it's not often, but it does happen. Of course, you can go date back to, of course, the infamous Cashley transfer.
Sure.
So, like, it happens every so often.
well, and the last real one was honestly, everyone's gonna skip J5 or 20, whatever everyone's talking about now.
Oh, right, sure.
It was really Czech. It was really Petr Cech. That was the big, like, gut punch for Chelsea fans. Like, come on, we're strengthening a rival in the sense of, like, kind of keeping that old mantra of, like, you don't strengthen a rival, especially
Rivals stay rivals, baby.
right, top six
Right.
in the same league. It's dangerous. So I'm not sure what our whole model was this season because
The motto is Bowley's Billions, baby.
Yeah.
something. Yeah, somebody get a plane on the, a little banner behind it.
Right.
It's like Mason Mount, to United rival. Jorginho, still rival. Kai Havertz, rival. Like, am I missing one?
Saudis, rival.
I mean, in like 3 years from an EPL term, I won't say 3 years. That's a little bit like too soon.
Actually, like, something crazy. Of course, it's like a complete sidebar here, but like, I saw a chart this morning that said like the Saudis are like the second highest spenders this summer throughout the whole world, like next to the EPL. Of course, the EPL is double more than anybody.
Money bags.
But yeah, like I said, Saudi's gonna be around pretty soon. So just the way they're cooking, but yeah.
I think there's some parallels, and we don't want to get too far off, but between the Saudi League and their start 2023, say, or their real start rather, 2023, the Genesis, and the similarity between the EPL when it started off in what, 01?
What the
Premier League?
For Premier League with Barclays.
Oh,
yeah,
that was 92, wasn't it?
The league started.
The league
started 92. Yeah.
But I feel like the Barclays era brought that money.
Barclays.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because that's when it became like it's still called Barclays. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that was the trend. So I think if we bookmark this, holla back in like 10 years, maybe we can sort of learn on YouTube something. They'll just like email blast everyone. But I think the Saudi League will actually be a competitive terms in terms of like players, managers, and overall revenue to the Premier League, if not, have already caught up to the La Ligas. Definitely France and Italy. I think Italy will bypass those leagues.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Wow.
just in terms of spending alone, that they lapped because like the La Liga spending was like down 500 million this year, and
Well, I mean, like the star power outside of like your Madrids and
Well, I mean,
Atletico, Real, and
all things considered, like they can't keep up with what Saudi's doing. Like, and, I mean, it's one of those things where it all depends on because like there's already been talks of possibly the Saudis trying to get into the Champions League somehow. And now, if by some chance that happens, then yeah, that's a real game changer. However, what's going to happen is, I think as it stands right now, it's kind of the same situation that the U.S. has with MLS, where like you're trying to do all this heavy lifting on your own, and it can't be just you in your region. Of course, right now the Saudis are part of the Asian Federation, the AFC, and like it can't be just you and China not doing anything. It can't be just you and Japan's not doing anything. It can't be just you and Australia's not doing anything. Like you have to, encourage others around you. Be like, hey, let's try to get some influx of cash and actually make it so that way. Even if you don't come to Saudi Arabia, you have a competitive option in Australia, and you'll be just fine. Or you can go to Japan and be just fine.
Right.
And that's something that, until that happens, is kind of like the kindness of Alex himself, unless you consider everybody who doesn't go to Saudi to Qatar. What the fuck?
I think they could get to the point where they're trying to undercut so many other leagues as far as the potential of players and trying to accumulate more talent and more popularity and more notoriety and everything.
So the funny thing there is that, of course, shout out to Marc and Lennon at FTCUTD. Of course, in their Discord, they posted a tweet and talking about how Al Hilal was looking at Thiago Almada, and that's where of course, when you have those prospects that that hey, they should be over in Europe,
Right.
At some point, but they're going ahead to say, hey, let's just go ahead and give you some cash now. You come over here. What's up?
I mean, that's what they did with Greggo.
Yeah.
He ended up signing with that. That is an interesting transfer because, even they have the kind of money that can sit you for life in 2 years,
Right.
So, he's 21 now. He spends 2 years over there. Does that really kill his European career?
That's a good question.
Does it really kill the chance for him to play for his national team?
No,
Not necessarily.
I think that he mentioned, and I don't know the truth of it, but he said that he wanted to play for that manager, and that was a big component of it. Obviously, we can't totally equate how that sits in a cookie jar, but I think that could potentially matter because now we're talking about a different part of the conversation where it's an attraction, not to just the money. I can't remember the player. I think Iglesia. He moved from Wolves, maybe.
That sounds.
But I think he's an Ecuadorian player. But he said we're playing for the money, for our families, not for trophies.
Neves, yeah.
Was it that now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Ruben Neves did move.
I forgot he moved, but I don't think that was the one to quote. Regardless of the fact, I think the overall point is that, you would definitely be set. This is an opportunity for players to now get bags of money for a 3-4 year period, maybe even shorter, and then move on to chasing those accolades where they literally would never have to worry about getting paid to play football again. If they were not, pardon my French, complete fucking idiots with their money.
I mean, it's definitely one of those things where, depending on obviously what your situation is before you make a move, and then obviously your own ambition is okay, do I want to go ahead and either work for my cash or just go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to be good no matter what, and it might introduce just a whole new dynamic as far as how players go about their career because it's definitely a totally different pressure when you don't have to worry about cash we're seeing it right now with college sports with NIL. And I was watching a video with Coach Prime this past weekend, and he was talking about how he wants guys that still want to go after that NFL money because of course NIL's good, but at the same time there's still more money to be made out there.
Yeah,
and I think that here what you're seeing is that if you go out there for like I said 2-3 years. And you're set for life. What is the hunger still going to be there? If you still manage to get back over to Europe and you're not pressed for cash, you're just hey, if I play, I play. If I don't, I'm good.
I think two components could really become big factors: is the national team regard. Do you still have that? Pride to want to represent your national team, your country at an event and win the highest of highest or try to achieve, a World Cup trophy. Or even, I was going to say a smaller tournament or regional tournament, but just some sort of honors with your national team regardless. Or where you're basically going back to a league that is essentially more competitive, which has kind of been one of the stigma asterisks that commentators, reporters, news, they've been saying about the Saudi League in general that it's not competitive to them. But I think that's quickly going to change. They've got decent managers in there. People kind of forget that that's the region of the world that everyone literally goes to train. Even if you're a player that's like unsigned, or even like the Nicholas of Anelkas, where is he at? In that region of the world, training players, acting as a manager coach. So like that's where people are like flexing off to. They're getting great money. They say it's welcoming, good for their families. So I think that those two components are going to be a little maybe microscoped in on a little bit as things come along. Because I think that league could be competitive if you've got a Ronaldo on one team and a Neymar on another team, and a Ruben Neves and a Sane and a Edouard Mendy in the back.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, you got gems, bro.
I was just watching now because they signed a deal with Box to show games over here.
That's right.
And
On brand.
And I saw a game. Shit, I can't remember which one's next time. Of course, this is all still new right now, so I'm like, I don't know like which teams are which, but I know it's on Soccer Plus, and just like, of course, I feel like in a lot of ways that part of the world still kind of getting used to soccer, because like it wasn't like the stadium was sold out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like like you're. Even like compared to like what we do here, it's like kind of like shooting like a whole bunch of flags or none of that. It's just like it's almost like, oh, let's go to the game. Let's check out the ball for a little bit.
So then,
shit like that.
In that description, what could we say the current viewership, or maybe not viewership, but like the way that the reverence is of the game in the country? Like we always make these comparisons that you see on Twitter and other social medias, like the way Americans view soccer versus the baseballs, the traditional sports of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So then, would we be able to make a comparison in terms of that based off of like your description?
I probably need a bit more education as far as just like what the pastimes are in Saudi Arabia, but I would at least say that I think at the moment, especially considering you have so many superstar players over there right now, I think right now it's probably still sort of novelty, and it might take a while for them to actually treat it as if we are actually passionate about this.
So this is the globetrotter.
Kind of, yeah. That's a good analogy. Yeah.
I'm curious as to, because is it that different from what MLS did early on? I mean, obviously MLS was operating on a much smaller scale, but I feel like MLS definitely, I think a big part of even early MLS was getting like at least known players, guys who could be like potential stars, like I hope I don't mess his name up, Echeverry.
Yeah.
Like he was a big deal. You know what I mean? Like he played for his national team and stuff. I mean, like Beckham obviously was like
college Balderrama,
right?
Lothar Matthäus came over. I mean, I think that we did definitely on a smaller scale. What they're doing right now, I think it's just absolutely unheard of, because like it's like basically you're saying like you have a whole Champions League roster of players, all in one league,
Spread throughout the league.
Definitely like
And it feels like a complete top-down approach, But so I do wonder, like, what is the foundation there? If there is any at all.
I mean, their foundation is, hey, we're rich, come get paid, holla.
It's like build it, they will come.
So you say that, and honestly, the first thing that pops into my head is MLS, in reference to Marc as well. Messi, MLS, star power, branding power to the league, to the casuals.
Mm-hmm.
If Saudi Arabia as a country is a casual, if football is casual to them, maybe not to all, but to some,
Right.
the majority,
Yeah.
then you bring in branding power with a Champions League squad of players, spread them across the league, then you have butts and seats potentially, and it becomes something maybe little less casual.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And I mean,
how much time are we looking at?
That's the big factor there.
Looking at the money they're driving, how much time are they looking at bringing, I guess, some kind of sustainability, some kind of profits, be able to recycle and pay?
And that's the thing, like they're so rich that
yeah, it's that.
It just don't matter.
Yeah, that's the wild part about it. Like over here, we're trying to we're trying to spend at the same time still be fiscally responsible to an extent where it's like they're just saying, hey, you got the money, more is coming, get at us.
So then, do we deep dive into the sustainability of the Saudi League and start like is this an editorial?
I mean, I think it's one. They're as sustainable as the country is. So as long as they got billions and billions and trillions, they got like 5 different royal families with just like unlimited cash. Mind you, of course, they're still spending over in Europe too. So like you got PSG, Newcastle, clubs like that where like they're making it hard to spend in Europe, let alone going elsewhere. So it's one of those things where it's like as long as they have an interest, the money is probably going to be there.
So that's good. That's good. So then, if there are a couple other transfers, what else is popping off in terms of the remainder of silly season?
So
we've got J. Cole Palmer for 45, so and so. Is there anybody else scratching the surface?
I got one for you. Actually, this one kind of caught me by surprise because Yogi, I think, brought it up in the chat earlier, and star kid out of Barcelona, about Ansu Fati, went on loan to Brighton.
I thought it was Tottenham.
You thought?
Wait, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody pull out your phone right now, live. I need to check this information.
This is live. This is journalism.
It's close, but yeah, like the buzz was.
Ansu Fati's trending right now.
Yeah, going Brighton alone for the year. Which I know he has as of last week.
Romano hit with the "Here we go" to Brighton.
Yeah, and as of last week, Xavi was saying that Ansu's a big part of their future and everything. But I think at the same time, of course, he's been injured a lot the last couple of years. Of course, he's still just 20. So I think that it's interesting on 2 levels. One, of course, we've seen Brighton, become a real club on the come up the past couple of years. And this could be something that really takes him to possibly becoming a top 4 contender as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a little big of a shout. I want to rate on that or turn.
If not top 4, then at least a top 6 spot. Like I said, probably chasing for a Europa League, Conference League spot, something like that.
Where did Brighton finish last season?
6th, right?
It was 7th or 6th?
6th.
Audience, if you know, forgive us. We're going to get stacked right in the form of
again. This is journalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.
So all right. So Brighton finished 6th.
They get a European spot.
I mean,
they could be playing for a Champions League spot at the end of the season.
If he stays healthy and plays anywhere near to his potential, I would say, that they could probably push for it.
It's not just about him, in my opinion. I think the squad needs to be a little bit more rounded out, but they have good pieces. Ferguson,
and Ciso,
striker. Yep, they got a striker. 2 strikers that score. Old boy came out for like 10 minutes and put a goal in.
Yeah. I think the biggest question there, of course, for a lot of teams, like when they do make pushes like that, where they've never played in Europe before, or it's been a long time, like how do they balance out their roster, to account for the extra competition? Because in a lot of cases, like we even saw like a couple years ago, like back when Leicester won the title, of course they had a couple of years where they're in the Champions League. They kind of struggled, with that balance of trying to balance between Europe and the league, and so I think that'll be interesting as far as like how are they able to balance out playing in the Europa League to still aiming high for in England.
I think they would have to adopt some sort of like not in the
They should take some players off of Chelsea's hands.
I mean, there's already an understanding, but they tax the shit out of Chelsea, so there probably won't be much business going on there. However, I will say thank you for Man U taking our cuckoo off our hands. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope he succeeds so much that you buy him, because we have a 19-year-old Benson.
Who's
Baldwin, bro.
Hey,
Baldwin.
and
What makes it don't mean nothing?
I mean, look.
We'll see. Because
Like-
who's your other Goliath? Or is he on the other side?
He plays on the right mainly.
Goliath?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's your left back?
Show. Well, he's hurt, so yeah.
Well, and you saw the report, like the long term like muscle reduction, whatever. He has some serious issues. So it's like
Is
Shaw,
that the same leg
Malacia.
that he messed up?
Hmm?
Is that the same leg that he messed up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that was already on borrowed time. Just either way, like as long as he's healthy, he's good. But of course, it's a matter of how much longer is that going to be?
You know, as long as we're talking about Luke Shaw and like him being hurt, what's happening in the men's game is it's been a conversation in the women's game for a long time now. All these like muscle injuries, like tissue injuries. You know, these guys are just playing so much football,
Right.
you know, and like I just think I felt like this for years, and I think it's starting to become a conversation now to the wider, I guess, to the casual audience. Certainly, the players themselves are speaking up. But yeah, it's like someone's got to give at some point. Like you can't just keep putting these guys through the ringer.
Here's the problem there. I mean, obviously, and this is something that I'm sure there'll be theses and just white papers just all over the shit in a few years' time. But like, just the overall effect from the shutdown and COVID, and just how you had so many leagues trying to compress their season into these tight spaces, and like just like the long term effects as far as like how like does it shorten the player's career by like 2 or 3 years because you got overworked like that during that 3-4 year period. We're only just now getting to a point where the calendar is getting back to normal. Like it's just now, like we're in August 2023. Like it took that long to get to that space.
The reset. I don't know. I feel like they're still kind of consistently adding competitions and doing this juggle where it ultimately ends up being what Marc just said. It's like we're kind of bloated with competitions,
and not to mention like one thing that they kind of like steer back to the American side, like Tata Martino. During in Miami training, he was like just casually mentioning it that MLS is finally considering no longer playing through the international breaks. Of course, we're about to come up on an international break right now, and they're already like worried, like, well, Messi won't play against
Kansas City,
and it's like, one, it's a home game, so whatever. But it's just one of those things where like you don't want your players to miss games, but of course you're trying to get in so much at in such a small period of time that what other choice do you have?
Exactly.
And like for one, as far as MLS goes, they bad thing to do that. Like that's just it's insane that it took this long to get there. It's like, oh, you know, we actually want Messi to play, so we actually got to spread these games out.
Right.
But no, like I think that like what you're going to see in the long run is just like I'd be really curious to see like how it works out. It's just like how many players like really just ended up with injuries that they couldn't quite recover because they got so overplayed and so overworked, so overtrained that they weren't able to keep up. And I think the sad part about it is that is like any other sport. You take one spoke out, put a new one in, ball keeps on moving.
Yeah. And it's kind of circle back to the conversation we were having earlier. Does that then motivate some players to get the bag early? Do the contracts secure their long term future? Because it's like my career might be over by age 30.
Yeah.
That, and that.
And that's just interesting because we the last 15 years we kind of had gotten to a place where like playing past 35 was starting to become normal, and like this might be something that kind of counteract against that. Now you're going back to where you're probably going to have to cut your international career by 30.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be done by 34, 35. time.
Right.
And
Well, even maybe potentially earlier, depending on the injury that you could succumb to, due to the fact that you're not essentially having enough time to recover from your physio. Like you're overworked, unpaid.
just don't be like in Hazard and just hey,
bro. Sad.
No, nobody want to pay me, so I'm gonna go ahead and retire.
Not even Gareth Bale complex with Eden Hazard. And the fucked up part for me as the Chelsea fan and an Eden fan is that he could have easily cut ties with Real, or just he could have did the Messi MLS thing before Messi did it. And even if he didn't do it before, he could use this opportunity to literally skate in on the coattails of Messi. Hazard could go into any team in the league.
Here's the problem with that.
And I think he gets paid. And he plays a season and retires like Gareth Bale.
Here's the problem with that. Because how long was Hazard at Real?
4 years.
4 years. What has he done in 4 years?
He hasn't played because of Vinicius Jr. broke out literally the same year before, the year before, and it's been a wrap ever since. So, not to mention coupled with injuries and a bad training attitude, which he's had since he was at Chelsea. However, that didn't stop him from being great in the Prem.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked myself, what changed in the atmosphere? Because he's surrounded by, technically, better players. He's still on a decent contract. I mean, he's a highest-paid player at Chelsea. Yeah. And he went to Madrid, where he's not that guy, but he's still making bags.
Right. I think...
what's the factor here,
I think he's just... I'll never forget, reading the report that his first day, he showed up to Madrid. That's somebody got transferred out of shape. To me, it's it's a level of, it's a bad look. You know what I mean?
He pulled that Scottie Pippen logic you just said. I got hurt a couple times.
Right.
I got shape a couple times.
Man, you just get back in the shape. But, it's funny, too, now, the players that used to play with him, particularly at Chelsea, Mikel has a really funny interview where, he says, Hazard was the worst trainer, always goof off, and then come game day, he could always show up. But
some people have the discipline to be able to do that, but again, it all depends on your surroundings. Of course, I think that at Madrid, you're not at a place where you can basically rest on your morals, because of course you're pushing for,
you're competing for your spot.
Yeah. And even more so than at Chelsea, it's hey, because of course they know that hey, we will replace you so fast. And of course, in their case, they actually got managed to already have his replacement right there for cheap, but not with Vinicius. So it's one of those things where you came in not that hungry, and you came up against somebody who was. And to kind of circle back to the Saudi argument, when they do come back to Europe, they're going to meet up with guys who are still hungry, who didn't get that bag, and you'll be hey, what the fuck you doing here? You coming to my spot? I'm about to shake you.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel the politics play out a little different in Saudi, but that's some really good points to bring.
That's what I do here, man.
Before we totally bulldoze this, are there any other transfers that are worthy of discussion?
Our guy, Alligator.
Oh, yeah.
To Monaco.
Yes.
45 mil, right?
Yeah.
So, best of luck, man. It's a pleasure to
Chelsea
meet you,
at one point.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
U.S. men's national team, just like that. It's like a shadow that just emerges with any player. It's
he's American.
Gotta get him. Chelsea. Well, no, it's I feel I don't want to diss any faction of U.S. supporters, but I don't know. You always hear American Outlaws or some shit. No hate on y'all, but sure, but not now. I don't know. You always hear these shouts from the hills, or Chelsea, another men's national player, linked to Chelsea. Don't go to Chelsea. It's the bane of existence for men's national players. And we had this with Musa for a brief 2 weeks in the summer.
Right.
And the funny thing there is that y'all sent Gaga Selena to Belgium.
Yeah.
And then came right back over here to MLS. And got the guy from the Revolution. Like, dog, hey, at least we see y'all looking. It's just, hey.
Yeah. Well, I said this on the previous recording of some sort at some day that the pipeline to Real Madrid is through Chelsea. So Chelsea has been pretty decent in identifying goalkeepers out of MLS. They got I thought he was from Fires.
Solina is, yeah.
Solina.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought he was from the Revs as well.
No, the guy that
right, no, Fires and Revs. Petrovich is from the Revs. I'm sorry, but then you have this is the logic behind this. Matt Turner. I watched this man get destroyed by Chelsea in fucking person. Destroyed. I also saw Ruben Loftus-Cheek tore his ACL in person. That scream I can never forget. However, the point of this is that Matt Turner got rocked by Chelsea reserves in the middle of summer, and they put out their pretty competitive team for the Revs. He ends up moving to Arsenal. There's a pipeline. I don't know what the Revs are doing, but shout out to them for being able to identify young goalkeepers and then bring them up through the ranks.
I mean, one good thing Bruce Wayne is doing out here.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's him. You don't want to give him too much credit.
Right.
But moving on. So Petrovich came in. Do we have any finals? Anything else in the Prem? Or hey, Ziyech is gone.
Yeah,
no,
Ziyech
that's
is gone.
That player unveil was actually
They had they won. I think
Galatasaray. I think.
Yeah. They actually unveiled him mid-game.
Yeah.
And inside the supporter section,
I was
that was dope.
You know, and their supporters, the way it's set up, kind of reminds me of Late Night supporter section. I was thinking to myself, imagine if we unveiled those.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you tweet that though?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like this is not something I just heard, but I read.
Yeah.
That's something
that Galatasaray crowd, man. It's one of the best.
Well, and I wish we had Tony here. If we could just get him for a minute, he went to Turkey a few years ago and could speak to this environment at a better level of capacity than we currently are doing. And I think it just conveys a lot differently. But to the point, excellent. Not the okay thing either. Excellent, excellent unveiling. Touche to Galatasaray and see you later. Ziyech. It was nice.
No, just to kind of circle back things over here to stateside. First of all, shout out to the elusive one, Coach Tony, because last week, myself, me, and Marc were at the Atlanta United launching it for third kit, the 404 kit, and of course, Marc did a very nice write-up on FTCUTD.com that just posted on Tuesday, and I'm gonna circle this one over here to Rashad, because of course, he is the native of the group alongside Tony and everything. What were your thoughts on the kid?
Okay, the kid being the 404 kid. I was expecting something other than what we got. Now, okay, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm not saying I love it, but it just wasn't what I expected it to be. I understand the brand story behind what they were trying to achieve, but it's the 404 kid. There ain't no 404 on there. Right? So that's
Just
start
put it on the jock tag.
Let's start.
Just put it right there on the corner and say, hey, that's
on the sleeve, something.
No, I mean, just for example, we have this close up. Look at the sleeves on Marc's kit here. Just something
Shout
as
out
simple.
to players for change, by the way.
Something as simple as that, or even what Nike has done on Rashad's polo or pullover collar, please continue.
Yeah, so no 404. The graffiti on it kind of is very in your face.
Just put ATLUTD everywhere.
It's like very in your face. And I like it from a branding standpoint. Like if you had images, imagery, like the mood that you're trying to set, but like literally like on the kit, like we here, like you see it from the other side of town. You know, on the kids,
you know, like
not so
so like
it's not subtle at all. I wouldn't have expected like that kind of kit to be our first third kit. Second. Well, yeah, second. But it's like we're back at it again, right?
yeah.
Back at it again. We can't get it right.
So I won't name any names or anything, but somebody at the event on Thursday really laid it out in a way that honestly I had no rebuttal for it. You took an idea, took a great idea, and it was like you took that idea and said, "Hey, let's take this out to Myrtle Beach and set it up at the beach shop, and then try to bring it back." Because here's the issue with what Rashad said. It's not even graffiti. It's supposed to be like, you know, the airbrush that you used to have like at the skating rinks, like underground spots like that, like. Because like even like they even had like the
airbrush T-shirts,
the airbrush stand like at the event, you know, like custom T-shirts. They had the backdrops, you know. Of course, you know, we showed a picture of me, Tony, and Marc. The one that we did at
kind of like a club pose,
yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Prayer
Like,
hands.
got the backdrop and all that, you know, in the club,
Yeah.
your arms folded,
Yeah.
you know. Got
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm
Got
not
the
gonna
knocker
tell
earrings and stuff, you know, like, you know, I see.
But no, like you had a good idea, and it's bad execution. I actually think that, especially once I saw the airbrush stand, and so like, of course, you're doing these shirts on white shirts, and but the jersey is black, so you're missing the effect of what the airbrush design is supposed to look like. And so, like, for a lot of people, including Rashad, like, you're thinking that it's actually graffiti and not airbrush. And that's where, you know, I feel like they dropped the ball. Of course, I can go into a whole lot more detail as far as just the whole process of it. I was hoping to get Bim on here. Of course, Bim Joyner with Atlanta Forces and everything. Like, he's a good partner of ours. And I wanted to get his perspective. Of course, like I said, we knew about this like almost 2 years ago, and it's one of those things where, you know, once you kind of see how the sausage is made, it's just like, man,
yeah,
like it could have been so much better.
It's not kosher.
And the execution, you know, like I said, like Rashad said, like the video, the storytelling behind it. That part was actually really cool.
Yeah.
But they dropped the ball. And like it just felt like there was a disconnect between the story that they were telling and the kid that they were putting out to go with it. Like that part, it just wasn't job, and that's unfortunate because like you saw, like with the other third kids that have come out this summer, like with the dedication to 50 years of hip hop for the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
The
Toronto.
The
Caravana kid.
the Caravana kid with Toronto. Like, you know, like you clearly saw that there was a lean towards black culture with these third kids. Because I don't know what happened with NYCFC, but that's another whole other story. But yeah, I think that it's like you almost had it's like you're trying to like plug something together, but like the chords just won't.
Right.
They're too short. They don't link up. But it's almost there, so you kind of feel the power, but you don't get the full power.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, you won't.
You know, it's
static.
Yes.
You see the contacts?
Yeah.
We'll
Like,
put a graph up for that one.
You brought up the Red Bull kid, right? Like, I thought the Red Bulls kid, it was intentionally messy, right? Like,
Yeah.
obviously don't mean messy in a bad way, but it was like, so as you mentioned, you know, it was their celebration of hip hop, and New York City street culture, right? And so like, you know, the chalk on the sidewalk and all that. And like, I thought the execution was perfect because it's like, you know, it's like, it looks like it's a lot going on the kit, but it comes together nicely. So it ends up working. Whereas like, I felt like the 404 kit was like an overly simplistic design, and then the execution. So it was like, it looked like it was kind of trying to be clean, but it wasn't that clean. You know what I mean?
Of course, you got the design around the shirt sponsor.
Yeah, and then you have like the ATL, UTD, ATL. It's just like it's kind of off.
I think for what they were, especially because like, of course, we started seeing like the teaser. Around town, like what?
They put that thing in Krog, like way there,
and of course, basically they kind of spoiled the design like right here. Like,
they really did though.
Yeah.
Like,
really I was thinking that at the very least, you know, like at least okay, we see the color scheme, like we see like what they're trying to do as far as the colors go. But I was expecting a different design. I was like, okay, like you know, they'll put like a full design on the actual kit.
Right.
I think that would just be ATL UGD. That would just be
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they had the design and they used it for the promo. So then when you see that as the unveil, it's super underwhelming because that's literally what you've been getting teased with for months or however long that duration has been. And on top of all that, the way that they like tried to sneak peek it to us and build the hype was like with these crosses of like, oh wow, Outkast and Goody Mob and Atlanta history, this and that and the other. But then when we got the kit, it totally lacked all that. It was like, here's the comic that goes with the kit, but by the way, somewhere in the manufacturing process, we moved this one to Taiwan and we moved this one to Indonesia, and then we just sent them to the U.S. So here you go. It's like, you know, like it's such a disconnect. It's just super disappointing. With that being said, I'll probably get it when it goes on sale next year.
I mean,
where I'm wearing it is with a big gold rope chain.
Well, I mean, I want to, like, there was some gentrification of that tonight.
Yeah.
I saw lots of people with gold chains, like, and it's not even a thing that, like,
no, that was my fear.
Out.
That was my fear is that it would still sell because you have white kids out in Sewanee.
Well, not even now. I won't say it like that, but like in Atlanta, we specifically have this like jock culture mixed crossover with the Braves, and that jock from the Braves like has this whole pearl thing, and then they gentrified the fuck out of it by like making that.
You run something to the ground. It's just like.
Well, where the fuck do you think you got it from, though?
Yeah,
bro. Like I'm just trying. I don't want to say y'all biting, but like whatever. Like you know.
Yeah, it could have been more for sure. It felt like seeing like a 3-minute preview of an hour and 20 minutes like except you saw all the good parts.
Right. Yeah.
So it was just like there was no surprise. It was an interesting range of emotions because like I know for me, I think for most of us, we saw pretty much the design. Like we saw what was going to be first, and it's like that's it. Okay. And then like the story comes out. They release I think that 30-minute video.
Yes. Not that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's actually
all of that, and even the event itself. It's like you could tell a lot of thought went into this. The presentation, you know. But like,
what did I say about that event though? Like we got the invite the week before, and then like in the middle of that same week, I was like, wait a second, guys, what is this about? And it was the fact that they released the kit 2 days before.
Yeah, I think what happened there was Bim made a post like a week before, and I guess there was an event where Goody Mob was there, and
well, no, that was the concert, didn't it? What was the concert series they had? Because that's important too.
I know it was like a week before the kids got released. And of course, like wherever they were, they already had the jerseys on and everything. And so basically, like you already kind of spoiled the whatever the plan release was because hey, it's already out there.
Well, then they just had the sponsorless versions of these.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that probably messed up, you know, whatever they had planned. Said, hey, we got to go ahead and drop it because you already know what's up.
Atlanta United fans don't go to hip hop concerts.
Yeah, but
HBCU Unite in 3 weeks.
but of course, you know how of course all the social media works with the team, where it's like, as soon as something drops or something gets leaked out, it's like gotta put it out there on the fans page, gotta put it out there on Discord, gotta put it out on Twitter. And of course, you have like 50 million different opinions of it. And they're all valid in their own way, but at the same time, of course, whatever the team had in mind, it was like, okay, you gotta go ahead and drop this now because
somebody done suss us out.
Yeah.
So it happens that way sometimes, but I think that it's of course now having seen it in person, and of course now you have like a significant victory. Of course, granted, we lost them tonight against Cincinnati, but that's fine. But I think that having that first win in them probably is going to help out a little bit as far as sales go. Of course, whenever they do go on sale, clearance and everything, they'll probably sell even more.
Yeah.
But
I think it'll end up selling. Yeah, I've already seen quite a number of people.
I think basically they're out. I think people like them. I think the only people that are like kind of expressing this sort of opinion, or like if you were going to draw some lines in the sand, is people who look like us. I mean, I'll say all,
right?
Like, or people who A, look like us, B, are connected to the city, have deep line roots, or 3, actually get the culture and understand.
But I will say this instead of, hey, Cameron, come here.
Hold on. You're going to turn on the AI.
I will say this, because we ain't plugged the store in a while. Go to FTCUTD.com/shop. Go to order a name set. Go to drop down. Go to custom work. Put in what your name, your number, what you want, and everything, and those put on 404 kit. I guarantee you, we got some drip for this shit. Just because we're bitching about it right now, doesn't mean we don't have some drip ready for this shit. You see this over here, Rashad?
Hell yeah.
Right. I'm telling you right now.
Hold on, do that again.
You see this over here, TK?
You're so scary.
I don't see this shit. Tell you right now.
My goodness.
I got some shit.
That's fucking drip.
Yeah. Greggo said you got heat.
That's heat.
I got heat for you.
That's heat.
I absolutely.
stuff.
Yes.
See, that's what I feel like they could have been doing more of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me. I do this.
Yeah.
I do this.
We are going to salvage this jersey.
Like I said, I
For those interested in
I
salvage.
have cracked the code. I've solved the puzzle. Like, trust me. FTCUTD.com/shop. Get a name, get this jersey, get a name set. We got you. Matter of fact, even with the Red Bulls jersey, get that shit.
Ooh,
we got something
come
set too.
on, no, baby.
I promise you.
And we're gonna wrap it.
This trip's gonna happen.
We're gonna wrap it. Give a shout outs. Give them shout outs.
Yeah. So trust me, we got you covered. We absolutely got you covered. Matter of fact, y'all probably see this by the time. Matter of fact, when Mr. Messi comes to town on 16, you'll start seeing those jerseys out in the streets. So
Yeah,
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up real quick. I'm gonna introduce a new segment here. We've got our live volume 2. We're in sesh. So we have this new concept we're calling, and please don't be biting this, man. I worked hard on this. Shout out Dave Chappelle for his love the skit. 1, 2, 3, fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. Y'all know. So this is going to be an iteration on kits. 1, 2, 3rd kit. So we're going to kick it off with Greggo. He's a little familiar with the format. And Greggo's going to give you his 1, his 2, and his 3rd kit. And then we're going to pass it off to Rashad. I'll jump in. And then Marc, you can finish this off.
what do we cover?
I don't care. You pick. So the way the premise of this is, you pick a primary kit as your 1 from any club, any country. I don't care. Pick a secondary kit as your 2, any club, any country, and pick a 3rd kit as your 3rd. And that's it. 1, 2, 3rd kit.
All right.
Kick us off.
First of all, we just finished mentioning this a second ago. the New York Red Bulls 50 Years of Hip Hop freestyle kit. Buddy, for those, I think y'all know me by now, either from this podcast or throughout the socials. From either following DC United or following Atlanta United, I've never liked the Red Bulls, Metro Stars, any of them. They're like their kids, none of that shit. This one right here, ooh, it's taking a lot for me to not get this one. Like it's absolutely perfect. It's so perfect. I'm actually mad at other teams for not having one like it. It's like, mind you, you're talking about 50 years of hip hop. So, and of course, depending on who you believe, the hip hop was born in the Bronx. Who plays in the Bronx? New York City FC.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't have a kid talking about 50 years of hip hop? New York City FC. And
not for long. They got a new spot. It's going to be right next to.
Yeah, but why did it be like 53 years of hip hop?
I mean, they're going to be in Queens though, and that's a proper part of proper borough, if you will. Literally right across from LaGuardia. It's a great view. I can't wait to.
There is no great view from
bro. All right. Anyone who's traveled to New York in the last 3 years knows Greggo's dead ass wrong. So obviously, this is going to be another segue. MLS, we would like to come visit you in your headquarters before you move down to Atlanta, and we give you the tour here. We'll take you to JR Crickets. However, we first would like to introduce ourselves. Maybe we can smash up with the Cooligans, because we got fans all in the area. And I know Queens at this point, so we can pull up
to the most common box.
We'll pull up the Slutty Vegan. We will make this Atlanta-based NY invasion. And I would just really like to see the MLS facilities before they come to Atlanta, if nothing else. So shout out Don Gobber. We'll see you soon. Appreciate you. So Greggo, we're gonna kick off this 1, 2, 3 kick quickly.
Okay.
Just give us the kits real quick, and then we'll redo this on that.
No, keep it rolling.
I'm gonna edit it to a different way, but you'll be happy with it. Just cut in on 1, 2, 3.
But second one is the new Real Madrid third kit, the black on gold.
You're breaking the rules though. So you got a primary, secondary, and third. You chose 2/3.
Hey, sometimes the thirds are wrong. Okay.
You're not wrong.
Framework. All right. Blow the whistle. You say, all right. Greggo's gonna kick us off with his 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I'm going with the away kit second, but I think the AC Milan new away kit with the racing stripe on the side. I thought that real heavy.
Okay.
And it doesn't even matter that a U.S. agent over here kind of balling everything. But yeah.
All right. Did you have a primary?
Did I?
I don't think so. I heard you did a third. You said you only want to fuck with the New York FC for once.
Yeah.
On your third, and then
let's go with. Actually, I'm gonna have to go with y'all boys, man. At least while y'all still don't have a sponsor on it, it's kind of clean.
Mm-hmm. Well, on the back of that, that's my first as well. So for me, the first is Chelsea sponsorless kit. I've seen other clubs have sponsorless kit. I've dreamed about it. I laid my head on a pillow. I flipped the pillow upside down, turned it inside out, and then I tried to dream again. Maybe one day we won't have a kit sponsor. Maybe one day we won't have a kit sponsor.
But do you need it though? Do you need it?
2023 Chelsea home kit. We got a sponsor. They're lined up already.
Yeah.
Second, my 2 is going to be our rivals, Manchester United. They have a white away kit for the season,
which is actually clean.
Bro, it's clean AF. Yo, with the alt badge, it's like the Red Devil.
You have the subtle pattern,
the color. Oh yeah,
that was a long time coming up. I always kind of wanted to.
You and Tony have been literally talking about this since the day I met you guys. But when are United gonna? They did it. Go buy it. It is fire. Red collar. I don't like United like that, but I'm fucking with this kid. And the third for me is going to go out to Tommy Tactics. Bayern Munich has a cream on like butterscotch. It's like a beautiful blend. Everything is like almost damn near the same color.
Yeah.
They have an all logo for Munich as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just like 1 2/3 kid. So Rashad, give us your 1 2/3.
First of all, you took my.
That's okay.
Manchester
We
United.
pivoted on the we pivoted on
Dang,
the
you took that.
Chelsea, so that's fine.
Ooh. Home kit wise. So indecisive on that. But what did grab my attention this evening as we were preparing for this beautiful production was that Toronto kit.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
With that paint on there.
Yes. Proper paint.
Proper paint.
So
That was a beautiful kit.
that'll be your third.
That'll be my third.
Oh, yeah. Well, you still
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
So I just been borrowing each other's right now.
Yeah. That's why I got it back in third.
We like each other for other reasons too.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
What was your primary? Do you have one?
I don't have one. I can't decide right now. I can't decide.
All right, we'll insert
double
one.
back.
Yeah, Rashad's gonna have to do an IG post for y'all.
It's some drip this year, I will say.
I know. That has been. It really has been.
What you got, Mark?
Yeah, finish this up, Mark.
Okay, so for primary, I'm actually bringing back to MLS, and I'm gonna throw some love on Inter Miami. Not like they need any more love, but I don't know. It just I don't know if it's because of the players. I don't know if it's because of the players or what, but I'm like,
You have to have a certain level of swagger to rock paint, right?
yeah. And I don't know if it's. I'm just looking at it different. I'm like, you know what?
It's Draco, isn't it?
I'm looking at it actually. Who?
Draco.
Calendar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly,
Well, but he doesn't wear the baby.
he was so well, and only in the Bay thing.
Yeah.
That was, and then there's a trainer
Yeah,
jersey,
he did.
a trainer jersey that's
Yeah.
painted that. And I was like, because he was goofy until then. Seriously, that's a good show. Nobody picked anything from the last.
Yeah. I gotta show some love for paint. Always gotta. And that would have been my third kid. I love that Toronto jersey. It's beautiful. The third kid I'm gonna go with is Arsenal's green.
Ooh.
You don't see green kits like that, especially from teams who don't primarily wear green.
Yeah.
They got multiple layers of green on. I mean, the sleeves on the. I just think it looks so good. And like Arsenal stay coming with the heat, and they've done it once again.
It was like highlighter last year, wasn't it?
How was this year?
I thought it was green this year.
No, I think with the wager. Yeah. You're
Because
right.
it was because it was more yellow. Yeah. Well, hell yeah. Well, all right. That's been our 1 2/3 kit. This is the first iteration of that, so we hope you guys like it. And yeah, let us know what you think, what your 1 2/3 kits could be as well, and we'll have a little fun with that. Greggo, why don't you take us out and wrap it up?
I mean, what else can we talk about?
I don't know. I got final thoughts. I'm trying to hit the beach. I got to leave at 7 a.m. So I'll be honest.
Well, of course, the conversation continues as always on FTC,
UTD.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, FTC Pod on TikTok. We actually are posting videos on there as well. Of course, we try to get the live tweets going on during Saturday and Sunday match days. We try to do our thing, and hopefully you vibe with us. Hope you vibe with the entire 2 Cents family, Shea Butter FC, 2 Cents FC, Can I Kick It, Walking 90, Dreaming of Freedom. Matter of fact, shout out Dreaming of Freedom. Of course, me and TK were on there this past week with the crossover episode. Of course, after Miami's Lease Cup win, they're almost there for the U.S. Open Cup. They got a final against Houston. So yeah. But yes, the messy love fest will probably not stop on the socials one way or the other. But of course, the vibes are always strong here. So make sure you vibe with us on whatever platform that you have, and keep doing our thing. Any final words?
Just want to say shout out to Devin. That's my boy. We linked up recently in DC. So I just want to say shout out to our brother. Thanks for showing me hospitality and getting to spend some time and chop it up and get us to see how we can continue to connect these bridges here with the FTC family. And I'm looking forward to being back up there soon for United versus United.
That's your spot right there. There's a small square for you to add your space whenever you want, Evan.
Be more don't stop. But yeah, so we got the Champions League draws coming up in a couple days. Of course, the throw ball is coming up pretty soon.
One more day of silly season. 8 more days for Saudi on silly season.
Yeah.
And any other final parts and words?
I think again, you should have put 404 on the kids. That's really all I got.
It was right there.
But yeah, that's all we got. We will catch y'all soon. As always, the coach is real. Coach is everywhere. Keep your head shaved, y'all. We will see y'all soon. And we out.
Big oof!